going to look at pre-arrival information. All right, namely, we look at two broad categories. The first would be visa requirement. Okay, can we apply for visa now? And obviously, the next one, before you arrive, you need to know whether flights are available to go to these countries. All right. So I'll start with Jessica. Understand, as you mentioned, all right, because the different provinces have got different rules, and you need to attend some briefing before you can actually, to make sure that you're ready to arrive in those countries. Could you share with us what are the visa requirements, policies for Canada?
So for international student applying for study permit to get into Canada for study, since early this year, as I shared before, international students are able to travel to Canada to study. But there are something that they have to note. International students should apply to the DLI institution, like the designated learning institution, which has the COVID-19 readiness plan approved by the provinces or the territory that the institution is located in. And also they are required to hold a study permit or a study permit approval, noting that a study permit alone is not a travel authorization, and the international students must ensure that they can meet the obligation under the Quarantine Act with respect to mandatory isolation or quarantine. So international student also should remember that there is a requirement to enter Canada with a plan for quarantine for at least 40 days. Even though that they may be exempted from the quarantine, they should prepare a plan for quarantine still. Yeah.
Can they apply for visa now online or for Canada?
Yes, so for Canada, the student can apply for the study permit. And also we encourage the international student to apply online. And the processing time is usually ranging from 20 days to 8 weeks, depending on where the student applied from and which stream that the student applied through. Also, it is not included the time that the student need to give biometrics. But I have seen my students that have got visa approval within only 2 days or 5 days. So it's very quick at this time to accommodate students to attend fall 2021 or winter 2022.
Okay. And what about the flight situation? I saw some promotion by Air Canada with some institutions, isn't it? Yeah. So flights are actually flying into Canada, isn't it? International flights.
International flights into Canada is very flexible at this time. Only flights from India are suspended because of the pandemic situation in India. We also have Air Canada, which is the largest national airlines in Canada. They partners with some institutions, for example, University of Windsor, to offer the discount on the ticket fare for international students attending those institutions. So that's they try their best to accommodate and facilitate the student to get into Canada and reduce the financial burden.
Thank you. What about Suman? What's happening in Singapore? How convenient has it been for students to apply for visa, and what about the flight situation into Singapore?
Thanks, Daryl. I mean, flight situations where I'm going reverse in our flight situation as it's operating from Air India. So, but it's in a selective destination where from main metro cities from India, that's happening across. So until now, there is no disruption there. For visa purpose, we have performed for last 3-4 intakes, and usually it takes about 2 weeks time to get a visa approval. But in a record, usually it takes about 3 weeks to 4 weeks time. But we are getting faster visa approval for students, and a lot of students do take vaccinations or take a PCR test from the home country 72 hours before as a predetermination coming to Singapore. And after arriving, they have a quarantine and moves on with face-to-face learning environment here. So that continues. Yes.
Thank you. And Nina, for UK, understand there are some travel regulations that the students need to know before they arrive, isn't it? So can you brief us about the, first of all, the visa processing services, is that still ongoing? And also the flight arrangement into the UK. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Daryl. Yes, visa has been a very hot topic lately, particularly in Southeast Asian countries, especially students heading to the UK. So in order to comply with strict local restrictions to prevent the spread of COVID-19, UK visa application centers in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand in particular will be operating on a reduced hour with social distancing measures in place. As of yesterday, this means that there will be significantly fewer appointments available than usual, and it will take slightly longer to process application from when the visa centers were last open. So please only apply for a visa if you are confident when you can travel to the UK. A normal visa processing time for a UK student visa will take about 10 to 15 working days. If you want to have an enhanced service, that will be 5 working days altogether with an additional charge. Visa application centers that are currently open are Singapore, Jakarta, Indonesia, Manila, and Cebu, Philippines, Bangkok, and Chiang Mai, Thailand. Due to unforeseen circumstances you've probably seen on the social media, and in line with local COVID-19 regulations, our UK visa center in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia is temporarily closed. The visa center is working to reopen as soon as possible, in which is practical and safe for customers and students. Visa centers in Surabaya, I was told it's remain temporarily closed until further notice, with Bali reopening on 5th of August. I would suggest to all students listening in, for further information, just go to the visa application pages for the current operating hours. Yeah. Well, in terms of flight availability to the UK, it really depends on which we're going to probably highlight later, whether or not they fall under the red, amber, and green list of countries. So in terms of traveling at the moment, it is actually quite, there will be limitation, depends on where you're traveling from.